Frazier Friday, baby. Braun and Kratz, too. What's up? Kratz, you'll like this. I think I had the first ever FT dream of mine. First time ever that I had a dream, and it was about FT. And I was at my apartment. It's a little hazy, but there was like internet issues, and then you had to take over, and they were like, it's fine. Kratz has it. He's hosting the whole show. I kid you not. I couldn't watch it. So I was just screened off, and they're like, you're good. Don't worry. Kratz is running it.
So was it a dream that turned into a nightmare, or was it a dream that turned into a dream?
I just love hearing you say nightmare. So does Todd.
What is that word again? Don't say that. Oh, my God.
That's how they say nightmare in Philly.
Nightmare. Mere.
Nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's scary. Nightmares are scary.
I would like Kratz to host one day.
Nightmares are not.
Todd, one day, Kratz hosts the whole show. What do you think?
I think he would do just fine. Honestly.
You don't think it would be a nightmare?
I think I would need 2 beers with that nightmare, of course.
And you could go to a tournament.
That's the real word, tour.
And
the nightmare tournament.
And use a coupon.
That's true too.
All right, before we get into biz, Todd Father, first show with us since Little League World Series. Great job.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It went well, man. I thought it was good. I mean, the only thing was 17 shutouts. The pitching was absolutely tremendous. A lot of new faces got great recognition. The team from Connecticut did awesome. I thought they had a chance to make the finals, but this team from Nevada, truly incredible run. The first time ever making it to the USA Championship, let alone the World Series Championship. They ran into a juggernaut. Lee Sin-sa was absolutely incredible. He could throw up to 83 miles an hour. He threw 82 miles an hour, one pitch in that last game. He didn't need to. He stayed 75, and that's just absolute fuzz. His hands were the same size as mine. I think Kratz yours would be a little bigger because you got bigger hands. But this kid was tremendous. You know, they weren't the best hitting team, but you know in Little League, when you got the best hitting team or pitching team, good things are going to happen.
Kid looked dominant. Must have been the launch angles. Launch angles have probably made it to Little League coaching now. So, I don't know. Offense is down. What's wrong with these kids? Unbelievable. They can't hit 83 miles an hour from 45 feet.
Oh, crazy.
No chance.
One more question in all seriousness. Do you think that teams are using cameras and analytics to help them pitch better?
I think these kids go to specific coaches and they have all these mechanisms and what's the thing called where, you know, it shows all the numbers on there, Kratzy.
You mean like?
Oh, man. I forget what it's called. But
you mean like Rapsodo or TrackMan?
Rapsodo, all that.
So the
all
kids
that
are
stuff
using that at 12?
Oh, my God. At 8 years old.
People don't even go to facility. Like if you go to a facility and it doesn't have that, kids are going to be like, this is boring.
No.
What are we doing? Like, why are we even here? Like they want to see like every swing. They're like, bing, what is it? What is it? And they have like competitions and games. It's like a video game for kids. And they throw balls and they're like, what was it? Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's truly incredible, the gifts that these kids have nowadays. Instead of what Kratz and I did, get in the cage and take as many swings as you can until they kick you out, pretty much.
I didn't even have a cage. I didn't even have a cage. Oh, it's totally better because you learn it. You learn it, but I didn't even have a cage. Our high school didn't have a cage. I didn't have a cage at my house. I saved up my money one time and I bought a soft toss machine that I still have. I'll take a picture of it. And a net that I hung from my mom's clothesline. And that's how I would hit. I would hit into it. And the soft toss machine, it would like slowly drop a ball down and bink, and it would hit, and I would hit it, and I would hit it because I got sick of hitting off the tee. So I think it was like $72 or something. I saved up my money and bought it. Still got it to this day.
The high-speed cameras cost a little bit more than that.
Just a little bit.
Times have changed. But when I was watching, I was just like, I wonder how much everything camera-wise, tech-wise is helping these pitchers, and there you go, clearly a ton. So we've hit a point where pitching's dominating at the Little League circuit. Let's charge. I mean, we've been doing this all week. Kyle Schwarber, 4 home runs, not that. Although we have had 3 of these this year. Nick Kratz, as well as Gino Suarez, just punishing the baseball. Schwarber had a shot for 5. His kryptonite is position players. So if you're trying to get him out in the playoffs, position players. Just keep that in mind. As the Phillies beat the crap out of the Braves, we're going to go live to our Pennsylvania reporter, Erik Kratz, with more on the Phillies being the team of the week. First in a bad way, now in a great way.
Reporting live from Boston, the Philly reporter, Erik Kratz, sees the ups and downs of the Phillies offense. I mean, they came out and just hammered the ball. There's a lot of guys that had a lot of good numbers against Cal Quantrill last night. I'm not saying he didn't have a chance. I'm saying the Phillies got home. They got boat raced in New York, and I think that the Citizens Bank ballpark fans they hit different. They really do, and I know people are going to be like, oh, man, well, what about this place? What about – there's other places that are great. I'm saying that this group of players, including Kyle Schwarber, feeds off of this fan base. He feeds off of this stadium, and to do something like this, historic – the number that's crazy to me is 21 people have ever done it in big league history. 3 have done it this year. Now, this was a laugher. Kurtz, his game was a laugher. The one that Suarez did earlier this year was they needed every one of those 4 home runs. But we were driving in the car, and we had actually hit traffic last night, and somebody texted me that he has 4 home runs, and we were stopped dead in traffic on 84, which, by the way, New England traffic sucks. But I got to see him face Vidal Brujan, and I really thought he was going to do it. I obviously have been brutal with my locks this year, but in the moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. Kyle Schwarber is going to be the only person ever to hit 5 home runs, and he popped it up. It was awesome to watch, though.
Yeah, I mean, he is having a ridiculous year, Todd Father. This is his best year ever in his mid-30s.
In his walk year.
Oh, he is putting up some video game numbers that, when it comes to home runs in games, he's taking that city by storm. I got to be honest with you. He is fun to watch. He's built for Philadelphia. Kratz said it too. He had probably the easiest chance to get that 5th home run, and he said it himself. He's like, I wish I wasn't trying to hit a home run. Easiest chance. He could have got a single. I don't know. The guy's got 49 home runs. If he does that every day, Kratz, he might have 90 home runs. I think that'd be pretty cool, but it's not going to happen. He is, all joking aside, this is a guy that every team is going to want and would want and should want. He is a guy that'll bat first, he'll bat 4th, he'll bat any position, and he is a leader, and he brings that pain every day to the ballpark, and I think it's truly incredible. I love him. Absolutely love him.
He stepped in. He stepped in as a leader, exactly what you said, Todd. Because I think, they signed Bryce Harper, and I don't necessarily think every time you sign a superstar that they're the leader in the clubhouse. I think there's too much on their plate, and I think Kyle Schwarber has taken that. He kind of helped along with Rhys Hoskins when he first came here, and then Rhys left, and I don't think he ever stepped on Rhys's toes in that way. I think it was like, hey, I can help. I have this expertise. He's just a guy that everybody wants to follow. Like, he's the dude. The thing that he's improved this year, his batting average is up. His strikeout percentage is down. He's doing his damage against lefties. I think he has the most home runs versus lefty relievers this year in Major League Baseball. Before it was like, oh, just stack your team with lefties. Bring him in, and he can't do jack against them. He's got another one last night. And it's awesome to see, especially since he's a guy who's going to free agency. We don't know. We don't know what free agency looks like for a essentially only DH. He's played a few games and left, I think like 8 or 9 games and left, but it'll be exciting to see because we saw Pete Alonso not have a great year last year and the market kind of hurt him. I'll be so interested to see what happens here because he looks like a $25 to $30 million a year DH. Some teams are just automatically going to be out on that, and he is essential in Philly.
Next year will be his age 33 season. That's a factor too. But wait, I want to spend a couple minutes here before we get to Kenny Ballgame, and we'll get his take on this. Let's cue the Kevin Pillar tweet from last night, our buddy in the FT team. He said, need to start talking about this man for National League MVP. Now, the way I look at it, many of the younger writers just look at a little thing called WAR. And on the Fangraphs WAR list, Kyle Schwarber is. Does anyone want to guess where he is, placement-wise?
In all of baseball? Or just his number?
In all of baseball, where he's placed.
15th, 20th.
The way you're talking, Scott, I feel like it's not that good of a number. I'm going to say 38.
You had it first. He's 19. You said 20. I'll take that first answer.
I know. I got nervous.
No, I know. I didn't want to. I poker faced it. I just wanted to stay cool. But yeah, he's got 4.5 WAR. There's tons of NL players ahead of him, including Shohei Ohtani, who's third in all of baseball at Fangraphs WAR with a 7.1 number. So when Pillar puts that out, you get a lot of the Dodger fans replying like, "Oh, that's cute. Like, did you see Ohtani pitch the other day too?" Even though Ohtani's obviously a DH as well, he's pitching, and you don't want to lose sight of what he's doing and how different it is from everyone else and the fatigue of that. But Trey Turner has a 5.8 WAR. He's ahead of Kyle Schwarber, Kratz, Perdomo on the Diamondbacks, and Corbin Carroll on the Diamondbacks. Pete Crow Armstrong, Fernando Tatis, Christopher Sanchez. I'm gonna skip the pitchers because I think that's a different world. But Lindor, Kyle Tucker, all ahead of Kyle Schwarber by Fangraphs WAR. Do you think that he should be a candidate for the top spot? Of course, he's going to get votes, but should he win the award?
Is it 2006? Is it 2008? Then maybe, yeah. But again, we had this argument before when the players voted Ronald Acuna the best player in baseball. It's Shohei Ohtani. Unfortunately for everybody else, the MVP award, because unless they make up another new rule for Shohei, he's going to win it. He should win it. He's the most valuable player as far as value goes, because we start talking about value. Yeah, is he the most valuable player of the Phillies team right now? Yes, but he's not more valuable than what Shohei is in the game of baseball because he pitches and hits. Sorry, it will become one day, I don't know if we'll be alive, it'll be called the Shohei Ohtani Award.
Wow. Okay, I think we'll be alive for it.
We got a second, so I can go on this for a second, or
yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I wrote down I wrote down before I got on here some significant stats here, and I compared Schwarber to Ohtani. Average 248 Schwarber, 278 Ohtani. Okay, I'm not the biggest on average, but I'm also realistic that 248 is probably not going to cut it for an MVP, in my opinion. And then I looked at RBIs and home runs. Schwarber's beating him significantly in RBIs by about 34 RBIs, if my math is right. I mean, that's a big number for me. He's up 4 in home runs. I mean, that's pretty close. And then Ohtani pretty much beats him on everything: on base percentage, slug, OPS, runs by, about 30 and change. So if we're going on numbers alone, I think Ohtani still is that guy. But some significant stats like RBIs is big for me. I think that still has to play. So I think you still have to put Schwarber in that conversation for sure.
For sure.
Well, Ken's article is, if Schwarber and Raleigh prevail as MVPs over Ohtani and Judge, voter fatigue shouldn't be why. And for more on that story, we're going to get Ken when we come back. Also want to remind everyone that the Philly show will be all over this topic. They put out a special episode this morning covering the 4 Schwarbombs in that game. Could have been 5, all-time record. Position player better than the pitcher. Anyway, we'll get to Ken. We'll ask him about that article next. Kratz, if you need to pay rent for your apartment and you're not getting anything for it, then you probably haven't heard of Built.
You have to pay rent every single month. Why not get some points that you can redeem for other things that are a lot more fun than paying rent, like flights, hotels, Uber rides?
That's right. And it doesn't stop there. Built is about making your entire neighborhood more rewarding. You can dine at your favorite local restaurants, and you can earn additional points with VIP treatment at certain fitness studios. And you can also enjoy exclusive experiences that are just for Built members. They announce them every month. Built is turning a monthly expense into an opportunity to earn rewards and discover the best that your neighborhood has to offer. Your rent is finally working for you, and you can earn points on rent and around your neighborhood wherever you call home by going to joinbuilt.com/foul. That's joinbilt.com/FOUL. Make sure to use our URL so they know that FT sent you. Get after it. Hey, Francisco Alvarez broke his pinky on a hit by pitch, so he's hopeful he's going to play again. That sucks, though, Kratz. I mean, he's got problems now with both hands. He is getting beat up. You're rehabbing, and then you're hit by a pitch in the minors?
I don't know if it was a hit by pitch or if it was a a foul ball. I think it was a foul ball when he was catching. But either way, dang it, man. Dang it. Because this Mets team is starting to get that momentum without him in there. I think he brings something to this team that they're now going to be out it's amazing to me that a broken pinky is like 2 to 4 weeks. It feels like it should be way longer, but still, like hand issues when you're swinging. Todd, you are a good hitter. Ain't nobody want that.
No, and I think to make it short and sweet, Dusty Baker always told me the two things you have to worry about in baseball are your hands and your feet. Everything else you can kind of find a way to get through for the most part, but make sure those hands and feet are okay. And this guy, I smile because you just think of your pinky being this little finger, and it causes a lot of problems.
Yeah, Anthony DeComo. Yeah, exactly. Dr. Evil has other thoughts. Anthony DeComo, who covers the team, said the hope is that he can play in 2 to 3 days, given that it's a small fracture to the pinky, but it's a broken bone, not ideal. And he was out playing catch yesterday, but he had a trainer catching the ball for him.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. If you can't frame the ball, now you're not catching it squarely. It affects everything, and it drains on you. When your hand hurts catching, it sucks all game.
The Inside Scoop is powered today by MLB Rivals. More on that later. Let's go right now to FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal and continue this discussion. Awesome night for Kyle Schwarber, Ken. But let's dive into the article and what you wrote about related to Kyle Schwarber and really Cal Raleigh versus Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani.
The point of what I wrote is simply this, that whoever is the best should win. Now, it seems like a simple concept, but human nature being what it is, my suspicion is at least some writers will be looking for a new flavor of the month, and that should not be in any way a factor in this voting. Now, I know Shohei Ohtani has won 3 of the last 4, or MVPs 3 of the last 4 years, Judge 2 of the last 3. The year Ohtani didn't win in this 4-year span was the year Judge hit 62 home runs and edged him, or actually wasn't that even close. So, yeah, I'm sure everybody would like in a perfect world to see some new faces, but that doesn't dictate what a voter should do. What dictates what a voter should do is the actual on-field performance of all of the players involved. Now, if Raleigh and Schwarber are deserving, yes, they're the MVPs. But if Judge and Ohtani are deserving, then they're the MVPs. I don't have any preference. I don't care one way or the other. All I want to see is that we do this right, because I don't want, and I should have included this in the column and I forgot, I don't want us to look back in 20 years and have people say, what the hell were the writers thinking? We have done these kinds of things with other awards and we've made mistakes. We're not perfect, obviously. And that's my fear, that someone will get shafted here simply because I'm tired of voting for Aaron Judge. Not cool. Not a way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the best way to look at it is, you know, the Yeah, and I agree with you 1,000%. I think you're 100% right. Whoever deserves to be the MVP deserves it, no matter how many times they've gotten it. Now, my question to you as a writer, broadcaster, guy's been around baseball a long time, what is a certain criteria or what do you just look for an MVP? Like I went over some numbers just now about RBIs, home runs, average, just certain things that maybe I would look for. I'm not necessarily a big guy on WAR. People have different quirks about what they're looking for. Like, is there certain criteria that you specifically, all right, this guy has to lead in this category or it's a problem for me?
There actually are criteria for the MVP voting, but in the end, Todd, it comes down to subjectivity. The criteria is like strength of offense and defense, character, that kind of thing. You can vote however the heck you want. And part of the criteria as well is you can win multiple times, all these kinds of vague things. What I look at generally are the leading offensive and defensive metrics, but in this case with Cal Raleigh, I don't believe the defensive metrics necessarily apply because I don't believe they will capture his full value. Now, last year, he won the Platinum Glove as the best defensive player in the American League, the single best. Some of his metrics this year aren't as good, but not all of them were brilliant last year. So he is that guy behind the plate. There's no question that he brings incredible value at the game's most important position. And I'm not going to go by his WAR rating because I don't trust the defensive metrics, to get it right with him. So while I might look at WAR in certain cases, it's tough when you're dealing with guys at different positions because there are different values assigned. Now, I know WAR kind of covers that to some degree, but for instance, Bobby Witt versus Aaron Judge last year, the shortstop's more valuable. Now, Judge had this incredible offensive year, one of the greatest offensive years by a right-handed hitter ever. Witt's the MVP every other year, but he wasn't last year. So I kind of take a look at everything, and I don't particularly value one stat over another, but I kind of look at the whole stew and try to figure it out as best I can.
Does a team need to make the playoffs? Is that hard? Is that hard to not cook that into Ken Rosenthal's WAR theory or Ken Rosenthal's MVP theory?
Erik, it is my preference. I always prefer a guy to be playing for a postseason qualifier or contender, simply because, in my view, the pressure of the games that player is playing in September is different than the pressure that a player from a non-contender is facing. And there are some people who disagree with that. Every major league game is important. Every major league game has pressure. But to me, there is an elevated set of circumstances when you're competing for the postseason. So yes, that matters. Now, in the cases of the four players we're discussing here, Schwarber, Raleigh, Judge, and Ohtani, they're all playing for contenders. So it's really not a deciding factor one way or the other. And if for some reason the Mariners don't make the postseason, well, maybe it's because Cal Raleigh struggled down the stretch. That certainly comes into play. But I expect all of these teams to indeed be appearing in October.
Can you rank, and I know it's tough because you have to think about all of the other 4 home run games that you've seen, but Schwarber's 4 home run game last night, can you rank it as far as how impressive it is? Because they're all impressive. There's only been 21 in Major League history. But had he hit the 5th one against Vidal Brujan, how much visceral hate there would have been. I would have been super excited, but I was halfway through my drive to Boston, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, if he had hit that home run, there would have been so many haters who would have been like, no, wipe it out of the books, position player, this guy from the 80s and 90s would have tweeted, it doesn't count. But can you kind of hit on that a little bit?
Well, as we saw, it's not so easy to even hit a home run off Vidal Brujan. So, yes, you're right, Erik. That discussion would have taken place. There's no question, and it would have been heated. But if he had hit 5, man, then he's hitting 5. And it wouldn't have mattered to me. It would have been the greatest home run night in Major League history. No asterisks, no qualifiers. Now, as far as the greatest 4 home run games, I don't know. The only one I saw in person was Josh Hamilton's in Baltimore, and that was incredible. It was a sight to behold. But my goodness, last night, as we're seeing the highlights here, certainly fit the same description. As you said, Erik, they're all great, and I don't even know how necessarily to distinguish one from the other, but if he had hit the 5th, that would have been distinguishing.
Yeah, that's his kryptonite. I mean, he joked about it, but he doesn't like facing position players. Hey, it's a soft tossing player usually on the mound in that case, so you have less to work with. Anyway, let's get to what I think is really special about today. We have more debuts on the way from young pitching phenom prospects in the minor leagues that we didn't expect to be here at this point. And Ken, for me, it's not just the fact that Payton Tolle, who you reported on yesterday, making the start tonight for Boston, and Jonah Tong making his debut for the Mets tonight. It's not just that they get called up earlier than anticipated. It's that if they perform, they might shine and be stars of October in their rookie season.
Absolutely, Scott. And we're seeing that with Nolan McLean. He is with the Mets. He just came up. He's had 3 starts. They've been brilliant. He could be a critical part of the October equation. It's probably unrealistic to expect Payton Tolle and Jonah Tong to be as good as McLean has been. It would be almost impossible to be that good. But there is a lot of excitement with these particular matchups tonight. Obviously, with Tolle debuting at Fenway against Paul Skeens, that's a whole nother layer to it. And both of these guys as well, I should mention this, have terrific backstories. And in Tolle's case, Chris Castillo of MassLive.com wrote about him a couple of weeks ago, I think. He lost his mom while he was in college, and he's kind of pitching for her. And he supposedly is this really good guy, gregarious, and his mom was the same way. So I encourage people to read Chris's story. And also Ian O'Connor today in The Athletic gets into Tong and how he was not a guy that people thought was going to be this. And yet here he is, guy who grew up in Toronto, bears somewhat of a physical resemblance to Lincecum and looks like Lincecum on the mound. There's no other Tim Lincecum. I'm not drawing a comparison, but there is some parallel there. So I'm really excited for tonight for both these guys, and it should be pretty cool, no matter how it turns out.
Is there any bigger picture that we can learn from what's going on right now, Ken, or do you remember seeing something like this in the past? I bring it up because I'm wondering if teams are saying, hey, let's not waste bullets in the minors if we think there's a chance they can help in the majors and we have a need. We see prospects sometimes getting the fast track more than ever anyway.
That's true. And I would throw The Miz into this category as well. He came up this year relatively late, and teams are looking to their top pitching prospects for perhaps more immediate help than in the past. Now, obviously, it takes a certain kind of pitcher to be able to make this jump. Tolle was a 2024 draft pick, for heaven's sake. This is his first pro season. He's gone from high A to double A to triple A and now to the majors. That is unheard of, pretty much. So I don't know that it's necessarily something we're going to see much of in the future, but it certainly is lining up for these guys. And Scott, you're right. Teams definitely now are more willing than in the past to jump pitchers and even position players, certainly position players, more quickly than they have before.
Is that a credit to development in the minor leagues? Is that a credit to the fact that teams just don't want to pay veteran guys because they don't have the same stuff? Because history says guys don't bounce from the minor leagues to the big leagues in less than a year, unless you're like Dave Winfield, John Olerud. Like there's like a very, very small portion, and we're seeing too many of those guys right now. Like a third of the Angels team barely spent any time in the minor leagues. So teams are doing this. What's the precipice of it? What's the reasoning for them to do it?
Impatience and the desire to get the most talented players to the big leagues as quickly as possible. And I wonder, too, they're paying these guys big bonuses, the highest draft picks, right? Whatever the number might be, well, you want to return on that investment, I guess, as quickly as possible. But it seems to me that with pitching, it stems from the number of pitchers teams have to go through each season to get through a season because of the increased rate of injury. And that is really what is a driver here. And yes, impatience too. All of that. And all of what you said, Erik, actually figures into it. I would think salary figures into it as well. Sure. But to me, the starting point is the way teams run through pitchers today, which is just unprecedented in the game's history.
I want to skip a little bit over here to the Yankees. Oh, Am I? You got me?
You're good.
You're
You're
here.
good now. Yep.
All right, Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox, all in the pennant race here. I couldn't be more excited if you want the truth. Understandably, all three of these teams have a good chance. The Blue Jays are in first place. How do you see this shaking up with a little bit over a month left to play?
Well, first of all, we talked about the excitement regarding Tolle and Tong tonight, but we've got a great series coming up. The two best teams in baseball, the Brewers and Blue Jays, are meeting this weekend. I still see the Blue Jays hanging on. I think they have enough of a cushion. The addition of Bieber, if he's as good as he was in his first start, and all the credit to him for doing what he's done coming off Tommy John, then I think certainly the Blue Jays are going to be the leading team in that division. Now, beyond that, who knows where the Yankees are? They are great against the Nationals. They are not so great against teams that are better. The Red Sox are coming on, and the Red Sox are a legitimate team, but we'll just have to see how their back of the rotation holds up for the month of September. Guys, I got to run.
Oh, go for it, Ken. Appreciate you.
Thanks. All right, talk to you later, guys.
Okay. Thanks, Ken. All right, FT fam. That's the Inside Scoop powered by MLB Rivals. If you want to go check out the game, bottom right corner of your screen, we just had that QR code up for the entire time. So make sure you check that out. Also, here's more information on the game. Bryce Harper on the cover. How you doing? And FT fam, we'll be right back. Lots to get to today on FT.
In baseball, one thing defines your legacy: the Hall of Fame, a place reserved for immortals, the chosen few who have sacrificed, fought, and bled for the game.
Harper with a rainmaker!
With every swing, every play, every challenge faced.
Harper's not happy about that.
It's about achieving greatness that echoes through time.
The swing of his life!
And now is your time to rise to the challenge, chase immortality, and become a legend. Download MLB Rivals.
Okay, KP, this is your first Arena Club experience. We're going to open a slab pack together. So first off, we're going to buy one of those $25 slab packs, and we get to see what is in the pack. There it is. The Grail, which is the best card in the pack and worth the most. There are some other cards that we're chasing, and you can see the entire lineup so that you know what you're in the running for. There's the Yamamoto signed card. Now, let's open up our pack and see how we do. We have ourselves a really cool graphic, and then a Shohei Ohtani 50-50 card from last year. What do you want to do? Should we sell it right back to them for 16, or should we keep it?
You should give it to me. I'll keep it.
Good answer. Fine, I will give it to you. Since the Blue Jays didn't get Ohtani, you can get this 50-50 card instead. Use the code FOUL, F-O-U-L, to get yourself 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase. Yes, you get to keep that card if you want it. They send it to you. FOUL at arenaclub.com/foul. The Pirates have placed IKF on outright waivers. He can continue playing for the Pirates throughout the process. Playoff teams have until the rest of the weekend to claim him if they want him for the postseason. Kratz, what do we call that?
Dump deadline. How did we forget that? We even talked about the Pirates yesterday. We said Andrew Heaney's already on the waiver wire. How is Tommy Pham not on the waiver wire? And then we completely forgot about a guy who can play 4 big league positions at above average level. Of course he's going to get picked up.
And of course, he's 81 plate appearances shy of a $250,000 roster bonus. He of course has performance incentives tied to his deal. Todd Father, for me at this point, though, I mean, I know he got moved over there, but don't do performance bonuses if you're going to be with the Pirates. Just know that as a free agent. What, Kratz? What are we missing?
Oh, no. Just 2 years in a row. Pirates did this again last year. But don't worry about it. They're definitely trying to put the best team out there, Pirates fans.
They did this to IKF last year. Remember, they put him in that super awkward spot. They're like, oh, we can put you back in if you want to screw over this other player that we now put in front of you.
Yes. And then he plays it all year this year. So it happens to him 2 years in a row. And they cut Rowdy last year also. So it's not just 2 times. They've done it 3 times that we know of.
Baloney, man. Don't. If I'm a player, no more incentive. Just pay me the extra money. Then go after the extra bag.
Thank
Well,
you.
then Pirates won't sign you then.
Good.
You know that. You know that, Todd. They cut you.
Better than box scores. First off, let's just do a shout out to Taylor Rashi, who after 6 minor league seasons and a serious injury, made his major league debut yesterday afternoon at 29 years old. 3 scoreless innings, picked up the save. Diamondbacks beat the Brewers again. Brewers in a little funk, but that's okay. Not a crazy funk. They just were on a ridiculous run. But Kratz, this is an EK special right here for the congrats to a guy who has persevered, gone through adversity, done the whole deal just to make it to this moment. You know what this is like.
It's so awesome. I hope he was able to soak it in. A decently long outing that they put him out there for, but I hope he was able to soak it in. I hope nothing got in the way of like enjoying it, because stuff can really go fast. As much as you're like, man, he had 6 years to like prepare for this moment. Like, it goes fast. I had however many years I had, 8 or 9 years to prepare for it. And when you get called up, you're like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do, I got to be here. It's such an awesome moment for him. I hope he got to really enjoy it. And the part where, the injury, the serious injury he had to overcome, that's a level I don't understand. Like, that is really, really tough. So it has to feel fulfilling for him.
Mm-hmm.
Resilient. Just keep going. It's just one of those stories, just like Kratz had, and so many other guys. Just the battle of day in and day out grind of being in the minor leagues with injuries, not seeing your family. Everything plays a part in it. And for that day for him, I'm sure he went home, sat on his hotel bed and was like, wow, it was all worth it. So congratulations to him. 3 scoreless innings and got to save. Get that scorecard, big dog, hanging up in your house. You well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right, let's get to the New York Mets, who fell to the Marlins after the big sweep of the Phillies. The one down spot with the Mets, even in that Phillies series, was Ryan Helsley continuing to struggle. And this just came out from Anthony DiComo covering the team, that Mets officials believe he is tipping pitches. And the frustration level is high for him right now. They've been aware of the issue for weeks, but it's still a problem, as they think that hitters are getting really good swings on fastballs and that there are really good takes on his sliders. In the story here from DiComo, he said they identified the issue as a little tick the right-hander makes with his arms when coming set. That arm position changes based on whether Helsley's throwing a fastball or a slider, which, quote, makes it a whole lot easier to hit. And then here's the quote, Kratz, from Helsley. He said, I'm not trying to sound arrogant or anything, but I feel like my stuff's too good to get hit around as consistently as it has since I've been here. We've played mostly teams in the hunt, and a lot of teams nowadays will have guys who look specifically for those things. It's pretty glaring and obvious when I'm doing it. I mean, they have been smashing him. I mean, he's given up more than a run an inning right now in his first, I think, 10 appearances with the Mets.
He's also been throwing less strikes. His walk rate is definitely up, but he's throwing less strikes early in the count than he ever did at any point in his Cardinals career. He didn't just pick up a tick when he went to New York. He didn't just pick up a tick because now he's not throwing in the 9th inning and he doesn't have his walkout music. Like, the way he's attacking hitters, whether it's a mindset because he's throwing in the 7th or 8th inning, whether it's the pitches that are called, whether it's the Mets. I mean, the Mets have done such an amazing job of, getting the most value out of guys. May not work. Their approach or their mindset of how they're doing things, how they're approaching attacking hitters, may not work for everybody. So to me, it's okay that it's not a tip. Now they're saying it's a tip. He's tipping. My question would be, in the 36 innings that he threw for the Cardinals, he wasn't tipping. And now in the almost 9 innings that he's thrown for the Mets, he's tipping. To me, it is based on his early count strikes. So anything 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. His ball percentage is higher than it ever has been at any point in his career.
Yeah, and as good hitters as all these professional guys are, I mean, whether you come set, if you see just a little, all of a sudden, or a little hand movement, yeah, it's going to show. I mean, listen, this guy's got nasty stuff. Should he be getting hit like this? No, but they're professional hitters. When you know what's coming, and I tell this to everybody, even if you know what's coming, it's still hard to hit, but you're going to square the ball up a lot more, whether it goes in play or you don't get a hit. Your swing is going to be a lot better when you know what's coming. So, especially as a professional hitter, and it is frustrating. And guess what? You got to figure it out. You got to change something soon because playoffs are coming. They're right around the corner.
Yeah, this dude can top out at 103, but he's got a 10.38 ERA and 11 appearances since joining the New York Mets. To be continued. This team's going to be in the playoffs most likely, and they need him. That was one of their big guns that they traded for at the deadline. You want good stuff? How about Trevor Rogers from the Orioles joining us next on FT? FT fam, welcome to the world's most comfortable swimwear. For a moment, we are talking about Fair Harbor. We actually have some show and tell today. This is the liner that you're working with inside of the shorts and the bathing suits.
You know what the best part is about this, Scott?
What?
They have a lot of different options because these are clearly yours because I would never order this pattern, but
that
they
is
look
so
great
me.
on you.
That is so me.
These are so you. Mine are a little bit more plain than this.
Yes.
But they are super comfortable. The liner, I love liner shorts. Some people don't. But these liners are better than most that I've had on, if not all of them.
Yeah, this is the best liner out there.
No mesh. All of the above is perfect.
Exactly. It's really good. You got to give it a shot. Also, fun random fact, you get a new shirt. It smells really good. So head to fairharborclothing.com/foul and use code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase. Once again, fairharbor, HARBOR clothing.com/FOUL for 20% off your first purchase and use that promo code FOUL so they know FT sent you. And by the way, I'm wearing a Fair Harbor shirt right now. I'll show you in a second. But also, we got this news in on Victor Robles. The suspension goes from 10 games to 7 upon the appeal, and he's going to begin serving it tonight. So it's a week of one man down on the roster for the Seattle Mariners. Kratz, that's a big jump, 10 to 7.
It's a huge jump. And anything over, the way I heard it explained, anything over 5 for a position player is massive. 5 or more is a massive suspension. So when it came out at 10, you knew it was going to go down. I thought it'd go down to 8, but whatever. 7, it's a lot, except the malicious intent. They've drawn the line in the sand with a 7-game suspension for maliciously throwing the bat at a pitcher. No matter what the situation was, he didn't toss it like Wilson Contreras did, but I don't know. I feel like 7's a little cheap, a little thin.
I remember seeing this video and they broke down like every time he got it. I'm laughing because you don't usually see anything like this. I'm not condoning it at all. It's just, I don't know what the right suspension should be, but if I'm this guy right now, I really need to check myself and understand, like, man, I need to calm down. I'm playing professional baseball. I know I got to hit a bunch of times. It wasn't, MLB caliber guys. So you got to really understand that. Take a step back and understand, like, guys, down in the bushes per se, don't throw many strikes. But he needs to go find a high school team and get some swings in before he comes back.
We have Trevor Rogers joining us right now. Hold on. We got to get the camera in good shape here. We got a sideways Trevor Rogers right now, which is better than no Trevor Rogers. And this is kind of how the baseball looks. Yeah, this is what the hitters see, right, Kratz?
They're like,
there you go.
Couldn't he just stand straight up? Make it throw like his brother.
There we go. All right.
Up. We've never had this before.
Dude, what do we got?
Trevor,
I swear I'm good
this
with
is why everyone
technology.
says it's so hard to pick up the baseball from you. I mean, we've interviewed like 800 players, and we've even got a different camera angle. It's like your arm angle. So how's it going, man? How's life? You're good now. You look great.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's good to be with you guys for a little bit and talk some shop.
Dude, you are dealing. How fun has it been for you during these last couple months?
It's been a lot of fun, just really just getting back to, the way that I've always thought that I could throw the ball consistently. And just, help my team and help this organization win every time I'm out there. So it's been a lot of fun here recently.
Did you think it was going to happen right away when you went over to the Orioles last year? When you get traded over, you're like, perfect. I'm the guy that's going to take this Orioles team to the promised land. And it didn't happen right away. Did you think it was going to make that change, or was the transition from the Marlins to the Orioles tougher than what people think? Oh, you're just traded. You just get different color cleats.
Yeah, it was a lot tougher than what people realize. With Miami, we kind of had a really, really bad year from the previous year, and they were going in a different direction, and getting traded to a first place team in the AL East, probably one of the best divisions in baseball, just put a bunch of unwanted pressure on myself. Just thought I had to go out there and throw a scoreless outing every single time out, and I kind of went the opposite direction, and I got sent down. And I think looking back now and where I'm at now, I think it was a blessing in disguise. Really, really had to take kind of a good long hard look at myself and make some changes if I wanted to play this game, that I love for a long time. And I think it was the best decision at the time.
Yeah, adversity, man. It's a tough pill to swallow, but at the same time, once you come out of it, you understand, why and what the purpose was. But my question to
hmm
you, for this Oriole team now, what's going to get them back over the hump, man? I mean, this is a really good organization, a really good team. I've talked about it all the time. I know the injuries are mounting up, but what can get them back?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think it's the lack of talent. Like, I'll put our lineup against every lineup in baseball, and we'll have a really good chance of winning that whatever day it is. I think probably the biggest thing is all you guys have heard it. You can't lose or you can't win a division in April and May, but you can lose it. Um, I think we just had such a slow start this year that, we got in such a big hole, and it was just really tough for us to climb out of. And, I think all of us, we're pretty young team, very talented team, but I think we're gonna have to make that next step as far as, putting our big boy pants on, with a lot of the veterans were traded away at the deadline this year, and we still have a really solid young core. So I think we're all going to have to make that next step going forward. And um, just knowing that we don't want this to happen next year, and really just putting in the work the rest of this year and going into the off season, and really just try to maintain the culture that they've built here the past 2 years going forward.
Do you hear that from other guys? Do you hear that from other guys in the locker room? I know pitchers and position players don't necessarily mix all the time, but you're all young guys who are pushing hopefully towards the same goal. But do you hear guys talk about that? Like, screw this year. We're going to go out and win. We're going to get back to what we were and the expectation that everybody had for us.
Yeah, 100%. I could definitely say some guys are, say it how it is, pissed off the way this year has gone because it's not the standard of Orioles baseball. We expect a lot more. We expect to, compete in the toughest division in baseball and be up there where the Blue Jays, the Red Sox are at this year, and even the Yankees. So guys aren't happy about it, but you got to accept where we are and make the best of the situation this year, and really just play our asses off the rest of this year and going into next year just to make sure this feeling, playing coming into September and not playing meaningful baseball doesn't happen again.
Who gets the most pissed off? I feel like watching the games. I feel like one guy has a little bit more of a temper than other guys, but who gets the most pissed off? And we'll call guys out. And I'm not saying call guys out in the sense that some people think, like good, constructive, like let's get it going, boys.
Yeah, I mean, it's some guys are better at hiding it than others, but I mean, everyone from top down, Gunner's very passionate. Westberg's very passionate. Jackson, I mean, Adley, Mountie, I mean, it keeps going on. Even the starting rotation, they're not happy the way this season has gone. The coaching staff isn't. But, you can look at it two ways. You can moan and groan about how the season's not gone the way we wanted, or we can make the best of the opportunity ahead of us and keep playing hard, meaningful baseball, playing for each other each and every day until the last game is said and done. So, guys aren't happy, but they use that to their advantage. We got a lot of intense guys that love playing the game, and it's really just fun watching those guys compete every day.
Hey, Trevor, let's go back to the trade for a moment. So you get moved from the Marlins, and they weren't really in contention, of course. Orioles are looking to do damage. They make the playoffs last year, and it was a battle for you to get back to where you are now, and now you're thriving. Did you look at the trade and kind of put extra on yourself and be like, hey, they gave up some pretty good players here. They're starting caliber players. One has become an all-star in Kyle Stowers. Like, was anything like that on your mind? And also just take me through the trade in general, moving over from Miami to Baltimore, and what changed?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it at the time because I was so worried. I got to have results, got to do this, got to do that. And when I got traded over and I wasn't doing what I knew that I could do for this organization, and I saw what Stowers and Norby were doing, and I've obviously played in Miami for 4 years. It's not a very hitter-friendly park, and to see what those guys were doing, it's like, holy cow, that's impressive. So it put a lot of unwanted pressure as far as like, oh, I got to make sure this trade wasn't a bust, and just so on and so forth. Just a lot of outside noise that I was listening to. That I've made a better adjustment this year, just tossing all that out. My bubble is really small. Um, so yeah, I saw that and really kind of just changed my mindset and outlook on this year, just controlling what I can control, um, and really just go out and execute pitches and, I've said it again, I'll say it again, just showing what the organization, just showing what I can do.
It's got to be trust. It's got to be trust, because you sound like your mindset is just completely different. Because if you look back at your AAA numbers from this year, nobody would have expected this.
Yeah.
Take us through that. Yeah. Take us through that, because some people people who have never played look solely at, oh, yeah, look at his AAA numbers. There's no way he's going to do well. Talk through that in a mental standpoint, but also in like the execution of it actually out on a big league mound.
I think the biggest thing that people outside the game don't know, that you got to be honest, it's really hard to be locked in and stay locked in for AAA starts, because you be in the big leagues for a couple years and then you get sent down. I mean, win or lose in AAA, you don't really care. You just want to get back to the big leagues. I mean, you want to perform and you want to win because that's part of the performance, but it's really hard to get locked in, and the adrenaline isn't there. There's a couple thousand people in the stands instead of 40,000. It doesn't mean as much as big league games do, but you also you can't let that be an excuse. And for whatever reason, I've always struggled, whether it's rehab outings or getting optioned of pitching, because it's hard to see what the guys' approaches are down in AAA, because they haven't really found their approach yet, and they're just swinging, and it seems like every ball is falling. So it's always been tough for me to kind of make that adjustment down there. But I got called up for that doubleheader in Boston in May and made the most of it, and the rest is history.
All right. Well, what about moving forward? Is there something that you sit here and you go, okay, your 13 starts right now in the big leagues are freaking elite, let alone August. You've only given up a run each start. Like moving forward, not just September, but moving forward to next year, are there things that you did this past offseason to get yourself ready that you're like, dang, if I get a whole offseason of that, where can I get to? What level can I truly get to? Back to another all-star game, that level that you were when you first broke into the big leagues.
Yeah, I think it goes back to, just the very basic stuff, just lower body strength. A lot of low back injuries and just stuff that was limiting my ability to, be as strong as I could. I mean, there were starts where my back hurt so bad that, I just had to hold my breath to make sure it didn't hurt when I released the ball. So that happens, and you just try to be smarter in the weight room. And my version of being smarter at the time was, just stop lifting and just try to be as healthy as I can. Which the downfall was is I lost all my strength. So that was like the big thing when I went over to Driveline is they showed me the graph of where my strength was compared to like the big league average. And I mean, there's probably that big of a gap between where I was and where the big league average was. So that was the big thing, get my lower body strength back, and then just fixing up a couple of mechanical cues that I've kind of built over the past couple of years, just bad habits. And we really knocked those two things out, and it's been really good this year. So really just this coming off season, really focusing on that even more, and a couple of small other details as well.
Wait, can you go back to what you were saying about Driveline? Your strength was below big league average for your lower body. Is that what you said?
Yep. Yep.
So you played. Was that your fifth big league season when you found this out?
Yep. Yep.
How was this not found before? I'm always intrigued by organizations that are ahead of the curve, behind the curve. You had to go to a third party outside of an organization to find this out. Do you feel like if you had been given this information before, you would have at least brought that back up? If not, based on what I'm hearing from you, it seems like you're super competitive. You probably would have gone 20% over league average. But do you feel like this is like it was almost wasted time that you didn't know this before?
That's a good question. So when I first had my first back injury at the end of 21, I came back in 22 and the velocity was still there. I think it was the repetitive back injuries and the repetitive, my back just feels like crap. So it was like the slow progression of, let's just completely knock this out lower body wise. Let's do a couple of movements that feel good. Because that's what matters. We just want to keep you on the field and go from there. Um, I try not to have any regrets because that's part of the story. That's part of the, you know, what my career is. And I've always taken it as, I've learned throughout the way, every step through this journey. But I do think sometimes, if I had to do it over again, I would have gone sooner. But everything works out for a reason, and I think the stars aligned, and I went at the perfect time, and I'm just happy that we found the issue and we were able to tackle it. If there wasn't a problem and they couldn't find a problem, I'd be probably in a lot worse spot than I was. So I'm just glad that there was a problem and we were able to attack it and resolve it.
I want to talk a little bit about your arm angle too, as well. I'm not saying it's a problem. You kind of got that lower arm angle for a bigger pitcher. Bumgarner did kind of the same thing, but he had that longer release. Can you talk a little bit about that? Did you develop that over time, or was that just the natural way that you threw the ball?
Yeah, just a natural way that I threw the ball. Before, this was when I was a lot younger. before I even saw video, I thought I was Kershaw. I was way up here over the top, and they saw the video and I was way out here. I was like, oh crap, okay, that's not exactly what I felt, but feel versus real, right? So that's kind of always how I threw the baseball. So yeah, I don't know where it came from, or it's just a natural way of throwing the baseball, but yeah, that's kind of always how it's been.
All right. What do you do in your free time? What do you do when you're not dominating big league hitters and you're like, I got 2 hours to kill. I got 2 hours to kill in this city, or we got an off day. What's Trevor going to besides hitting lower body?
Yeah, yeah. I've been. My wife has been a lot better at trying to get me out and trying new restaurants. I'm very plain Jane. Just give me a burger. Give me something. Give me ramen noodles. I
Yeah.
don't care. Um, so I've been better at expanding my palette a little bit. Big Lego guy. A big Lego guy. I love Legos. We'll build them in the off season all the time. And I love to golf and read. So kind of just those four things. I don't really do a whole lot outside of that. Pretty boring guy. So I just try to keep it simple, really.
Wait. That's not boring. First of all, did you have you gotten sick eating anything that she's had you eat? And do you glue your Legos together? Because he's not here today. AJ Przinsky is huge into Legos, and he is Lord Business. AJ's normally here where Todd is. Phil is my guy today, but he glues his together, and I think that is like communist. I can't handle it.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. I never even thought about that. That's I don't think I have the patience to glue them. If they fall apart, then they fall apart. I think I need to do a better job of building them. But but as far as the food goes, I mean, I grew up on Taco Bell, so I don't think anything's gonna
Yeah.
get this stomach upset. So
Stomach is steel. Wait, I totally just realized this as we're getting towards the end of the conversation. Do you know who we spoke to on this show yesterday? We had a guest on this show who you know pretty well. Like, I think you're related to him.
Cody Ross, I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. Dude, how
Oh,
crazy is
really?
this? We mostly have current players on, especially during the season. We were at a tournament in Alabama, and I was just looking because I know you played ball in New Mexico, and we asked Cody, best
Mhm.
player ever out of New Mexico, and he brought up Alex Bregman, and then I'm like, oh, I should ask him this question. And then I look, and then it says his cousin Cody played for 9 different
Yeah,
teams. I'm like, what? Wait, so
yeah,
Cody's your cousin?
yeah. He's my cousin. So his dad and my mom's mom are brother and sister. So I think that's second cousins or something like that. So yeah, he was
Yeah.
he was big for me growing up. I wanted to be him. Coming from the same hometown and just seeing everything that he accomplished. So he was definitely big for me growing up.
Dude, that is crazy. Yeah, I mean, we're on every single day. And we've had Cody on one other time a few years ago, but that's crazy. So, what's the New Mexico baseball scene like? Let's finish with that. I mean, there haven't been many players that have come out and been stars like yourself and Bregman and obviously Cody when he was playing. So, what's the scene like there?
Yeah, it's very, underrated. There's some teams in Albuquerque, La Cueva, El Dorado, Cleveland, especially La Cueva. I mean, I hated playing them because they were so good. I think they, at one point, maybe 20 years ago, they were national champions for all of high school baseball. So, they're just a powerhouse every year. And then UNM and NMSU, Kyle Bradish actually told me in spring training that he went to NMSU. So that was pretty cool. So, they're just pumping out really good college talent, and definitely wouldn't be surprised if there's more high school talent uh, coming up in the next couple of years.
Very cool. Well, you'll have to do it what Cody does because I know Cody's big,
Yeah.
and tries to, mentor anybody that's coming from New Mexico. And I know he was pretty tight with Bregman and obviously tight with you, given the family ties. So that's really
hmm
cool. Trevor, awesome conversation. Thanks for joining us. Keep doing your thing. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yeah, Trevor Rogers, Baltimore Orioles, with us on FT. Be right back. It was a big risk for the Yankees to send all that pitching to San Diego in a trade for the big outfielder. This coming from Mike Petriello. It turns out Trent Grisham was worth it. That was cute. I mean, Todd, Father, you can speak to that. I mean, obviously it was the Soto trade, but it's also turned into the Trent Grisham deal where some people are like, why are they taking on Trent Grisham and whatever it was last year? $5 million. He's been a banger for them this year.
Banger. And he's playing more. So I think there's a couple things. He's a starter. You know, he's not going back and forth, not playing. It's hard to do as you get a little older in your career. He's got a knack for the zone. He knows his zone. And I think that is something that needs to be said and in a good place because a lot of guys are free swingers. This guy, when he gets a pitch in his zone, he's not missing it. He's got power. He squares the ball off, and he's just been doing it this whole year. You got to give kudos to him for coming back and just getting after it and helping this club, you know, especially when a Judge goes down or a Stanton hasn't played in a while. They're going to need some key cogs like a Ben Rice and Trent Grisham to step up, both left-handed hitters, and they're not to be messed with. Those two guys have been doing really well, and Grisham's been a great center fielder too. So for him, I would be proud if I was him, knowing especially where he was last year.
For sure. And this is a great example of the theory that I have that regular everyday guys, when they become bench players, what exactly would their numbers be? He's having a great year. This is easily his best year that he's ever had. But to go from hitting 190, he had a OPS plus of 91, which was one of the lowest of his career, to now he's at 129. All are great numbers. All are great numbers. To me, his value is the fact that they can keep Judge healthy by pushing him back to right field. All the wear and tear that center field can put on Judge's body over the long course of 2 seasons in a row, I think it's huge. And there's no value in that. I mean, there's no like statistic for that, but there's a huge value in the fact that the big fella can keep playing.
I'm still in shock that we had Cody Ross yesterday and then we have his cousin the next day without planning it. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Cool.
It's crazy. I saw that at the bottom of the baseball reference page, and it never even clicked that yesterday is when we talked to Cody at the golf tournament.
That's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. All right, now we're going to throw to our AL East reporter, Todd Frazier, to get the lowdown on this division. And we're going to start it with a quote from Jazz Chisholm, who's always good for a quote. And he's showing the confidence that the Yankees are not just thinking about the playoffs, they're thinking about the division. So let's cue it up. And he said of the Yankees, now 4 games back of Toronto. Boston, is 3.5 back? He still believes they can win the East. Quote, we want to win the division. We don't just want to get to a wild card spot. Right now, it's just like we're going to go out there and win that, and then we're going to go and win the World Series. I expect nothing less from a confident player like Jazz. Todd Father, what was he going to say? We just hope we get in as a wild card. That would be fun. That'd be swell.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got to have the confidence of your team first and foremost. Jazz is a different kind of dude, bro, and I respect it in a way. And sometimes I'm just like, what is he doing? You know, in the funniest, out of control way. But yes, the division's still at hand, and I still think the Yankees, I still think the Red Sox and Blue Jays all have a really good shot at it. Of course, the Blue Jays have the best shot because they're winning. I looked at all the schedules. The Yankees, I feel like, have the little bit of the easier schedule. The Blue Jays are going to have a tough schedule, during this stretch coming up. Yeah, why wouldn't you have the confidence of thinking that you're going to win, the division and win the World Series? Putting yourself in that situation. If you're not talking about winning a World Series, then why even play? So you got to have confidence. You got to let your team know and understand that, there's still a chance. 4 games is nothing with, a little over a month to play. I mean, there's a lot of games, and they all got to play each other. So when the Red Sox play the Blue Jays, Yankees play the Blue Jays, vice versa, they all play each other. One team is going to gain a game or 2 over the other. So, again, this one is up for grabs. I love his confidence. He's going to tell you how it is, and, you can't knock a guy for that.
But are they going to do it? Are they going to win the division, Todd? We can't waffle here.
If I had to choose right now, I would say no right now.
Okay, and where was Jazz saying this 10 games ago when they were swooning, when they weren't hitting dingers? Like, it's always the rhetoric in baseball is ride the highs. Ride the highs and diminish the lows. When you're riding good, enjoy it. But when you're riding bad, just, hey, you know what? We're going to bounce out of it. So you got to have that kind of positive mindset. No team – I've never met a legitimate big league player that said, pretty sure we're going to lose this game today. I don't think we have a chance. Like, that would be a brutal way to go through a season.
Hey, also, I think this is a good time to remind everyone that some teams are really good and some teams suck. And schedule watching and predicting things on schedules are real. Now, can you run into a team that's playing better ball, right? Like, are the Rockies now like the Rockies in April or May? Of course not, right? If you are following the season on a daily basis, then you can look at the schedule and say, hey, right now, that's a team I'd want to run into, right? And just in general, Todd Father, let's pick the Yanks. Coming off a bad weekend against the Red Sox. How about the Washington Nationals for you? Are you not, kicking, cheering, and screaming in the clubhouse about who you get to face next and say, hey, boys, time to pad the stats, time to get back on track and beat the crap out of a team that we are much better than and take all of our frustration from the weekend out on a team that doesn't have the pitching to keep up with us?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Yankees are 9-3 in their last 12. I mean, they've been hitting homers left and right, and they've been playing bad teams. We understand that. I think we all get it. But guess what? You got to beat these bad teams. You got to stomp them. And that's the best part of the winning ball clubs. They find ways to, sweep teams, take 3 out of 4. Those you have to do during a season in order to be top in your division. Okay, will you make the playoffs, winning 2 out of 3 from these teams? Of course, But, everybody's like, oh, they beat the bad teams. Yeah, you're supposed to beat the bad teams, okay? They haven't done well against winning teams. But, again, what gets you back into the division, what gets you back into that playoff atmosphere and talked about is beating the teams you're supposed to beat. So, again, if I'm the Yankees, if I'm any team that's playing a White Sox, a Colorado, a Pirate team, a national team, it's sweep or go home. That's it. And you have to think that way coming into all these games. And you will see, if you take care about your team winning, you'll worry about the other team's going to worry about having to chase you at the end of the year.
Yeah, Kratz, it drives me nuts sometimes when I'll see, a baseball broadcaster, writer, whatever, be like, well, anything can happen. It doesn't matter. Looking at the schedule is overrated. I'm like, no, it is rated. It is rated accurately. The Yankees are playing the Nats and the White Sox this week, and they're slugging the crap out of the ball. Okay, so let's do this. Let's play a game. Let's look at the schedules. There's only 1 month left to go on the season, and you asked Todd Father if you thought that a team could catch the Jays. He said no. Kratz, I'll read out the schedules for you, and you tell me if you feel like there's a shot. And also then, Todd Father, you can think about this one. Which team has a better chance, Yankees or Red Sox, of catching the Blue Jays based on what's left in the season? So first I'm going to start with Toronto and what they have left this year. So they're playing this weekend against the Brewers. Brewers, hey, you would rather catch them now than 2 weeks ago. Then they're in Cincinnati. Then they're in the Bronx, taking on the Yankees. Then they take on the Astros for 3 and the Orioles for 3, followed by the Rays for 4 down in Tampa. And they'll be on the road for 3 against Kansas City, followed by the 23rd through the 25th of September against Boston, and then again finishing up with the Rays. That's the Blue Jays schedule. And as you can see, they're 3.5 games clear of the Red Sox. Next up with the Red Sox. What'd you say, Kratz?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
I said
that was Todd.
I said that's a tough schedule for me, in my opinion. I think that might be the toughest schedule out of the three.
Okay. So Red Sox coming up this weekend, and I know it's Skeens tonight with their rookie Tolle, but they've got the Pirates for 3 this weekend. The Pirates suck. They've got Cleveland after that at home, so a 6-gamer with Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Then they hit the road for the Diamondbacks, who are not the same team. I mean, they played pretty well this week against the Brewers, but not the same team that they were in the first half. The A's were playing pretty good ball. This is their time of year. Then they've got their series against the Yankees, last one of the year from the 12th to the 14th. Then they're home against the A's. Then they're on the road against Tampa and Toronto. And then their last series is against a Tigers team that you do want to face for those last 3 games because they most likely won't be playing for anything. And lastly, Todd Father, you've got the Yankees finishing up with 3 more games against the White Sox. Then they have 3 in Houston, 3 against Toronto at home, 3 at home against the Tigers, 3 in Boston, 3 in Minnesota. Oh, man, they love the Twins. 3 in Baltimore, 3 at home against the White Sox, and then 3 at home against the Orioles. You're right. I think the Jays have the toughest schedule of the 3 that I just mentioned.
The Yankees' last 13 games, they can easily go 10-3. In my opinion, easily 10-3, if not 11-2, with the teams they're facing. With the Twins and the Orioles and the White Sox, that might be the one where it kicks them to win the division. I feel deeply in my soul. If it's a 3-4 game race, I could see them jumping a Blue Jay or Red Sox team to win the division solely on the last 13 games of the year.
So now they are going to win the division?
I said, you didn't hear what I said. Remember, I said, as of right now, I don't think they're going to win the division. As of right now. Anything can happen. An injury, somebody goes on a hot streak.
I think it ultimately comes down to head-to-head. And I think the 4-game lead is too much to overcome because it's so hard to go in and sweep this Blue Jays team. They have to go in and beat the Red Sox, which they have struggled to do. We spent a whole week talking about how the Phillies struggled to beat the Mets. The Yankees need to beat the Red Sox. And to me, home field is going to be huge. If you look across records of all the playoff teams, all the teams in baseball right now, road records are they're abysmal compared to home records. And I think that's going to be a huge thing in the playoffs. But as far as to win the division, the series where the Yankees, where they play the Red Sox, where they play the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, that's huge. All the other stuff, to me, that's just chalk. That's just a wash. I think it really needs to be those head-to-head matchups, and if they're not winning those head-to-head matchups, they're going to come up short.
I like that there's 3 teams in it, and hey, they're close enough. I like a good race down the stretch here because as far as playoff teams, it seems like we're pretty much set, in terms of who's actually going to make the dance. But we got a month to play. Let us know your thoughts if you think that Boston or the Yanks can catch the Blue Jays. Drop a comment for us if you're watching live or later on. Coming up next, we have one conversation from the week that we actually didn't get to run yet because we did it before the show, but we do want to reveal it to the world since he's a pretty big deal. Hall of Famer Greg Maddux was with us in Bama, and we've got a 10-minute combo with him coming up. FT tweet, what is the Micah Parsons trade in baseball terms? Guys, we got some current answers like Devers to the Giants, and then we got some hypothetical ones like Paul Skeens to the Mariners or the Blue Jays, Ohtani to the Padres for a rise, Acuna to the Tigers, Soto to the Brewers, Judge to the Phillies. What do you like? Skeens to the Cubs. What do you guys like?
Trout to the Phillies.
That's it. The only one.
I was poking at Todd there. Micah Parsons is a bigger deal in the NFL than Trout is in Major League Baseball.
Well, Parsons is in his prime. He's 26 years old. It's like Luka last time too. It's one of the best, and I'm not Mr. Football here, but it's one of the best defensive players in the sport. moving over to another team in the NFC?
I think it's
trying to
Skeens.
think here.
I think it's Skeens because he's not that like superstar quarterback where, Micah Parsons, yes, he plays on defense, but he's one of the best ones out there. He could win Defensive Player of the Year. Skeens could win Cy Young. I think it's Skeens to whatever team. I think it's more blown out of proportion because it's Cowboys and Cowboys fans whine and complain about a lot of stuff because they haven't won in 30 years. But I love seeing it. I love seeing stars on the move like this. I think the Pirates should do that. Should do this because it's kind of hurting Skeens' value. Skeens wouldn't be 8-9 with a 2.07.
Yeah, but the Cowboys and Pirates could not be more different, right? And also the Cowboys trade him to a team that
both owners suck.
Michael, Cowboys fans, tells us. Yeah, but the Packers kicked their ass when they made up in the playoffs too. So you'd have to think of a team. To me, it would be like maybe
both owners suck and don't know what they're doing and get in the way. Bob Nutting gets in the way. Jerry Jones gets in the way. Micah Parsons is on defense, so he's not as sexy as the quarterback. Paul Skeens isn't as sexy as somebody hitting dingers. So to me, I think it's Paul Skeens, and he's free. Micah Parsons free of the Cowboys just muck that they're living with in their life. And I hope Michael Beer hears this. He's free. He gets a championship. Paul Skeens would go be free and get to win a championship somewhere.
I'm back on board. I like Kratz's example.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm back. It's just me for 10 seconds, just letting everyone know that it's a live show every day, but we got to Greg Maddux, the Hall of Famer, before yesterday's show, and we were like, we need to run this on FT. So we are going to reveal it to the world right now, a good 10 minutes with Maddux. Here you go. We have Hall of Famer Greg Maddux with us right now. We haven't had you on. We've been looking forward to talking to you.
Well, happy to be here.
Yeah, I don't know what you've heard about us, but we've been looking forward to talking to you. We've talked to Glavin. We've talked to Smoltz.
Mm-hmm.
How is Smoltz at a golf event, by the way, versus Smoltz when you played with him?
It's just like he's pitching. It's like he's starting today. He's kind of the same person. So, yeah, you always have, you're always on a little different level on game day, and that's where he's at right now.
Are you like that too?
I think I'm a little more mellow than Smoltzy. I think I realize I'm here to have fun and enjoy the guys in the golf trip, and Smoltzy's trying to win. It's kind of a different, it's a different beast for the both of us, and I think I'm having more fun than him. That's for sure.
You think?
Yeah.
We had Pavelski on, and he played with Smoltz yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and I said, "What's Smoltz trash talk like?" So have you ever heard Smoltz trash talk?
I've heard him talk a little trash over the years. It's pretty clean. He's he keeps it clean, and he's fun to play with. Obviously.
Were you a
What
trash
was he like?
guy?
What was he like on start days? What was Smoltzy like on start days? You mentioned it that he was kind of locked in. What did that look like?
Well, you're just a little bit more serious, with your attitude and your look, the way you walk around the clubhouse and all that, as opposed to the 4 days off. And you can kind of see it on just about every starting pitcher. There's a couple that, you don't notice much of a difference, but there in Atlanta, when it was Smoltzy's turn to pitch, he was definitely moving a little bit quicker and not quite as talkative as he normally is.
And what about you?
I like to just kind of chill out and get in a card game and get the lineup card, look at the lineup card, and kind of go over my notes and play a game of hearts or pluck with the boys.
Did you walk around in your white underwear,
tidy whities?
No, you didn't. You weren't a tidy whitey guy. You were the long underwear, the old man white.
I had the half size on, maybe. Yeah, I guess the whole team did.
No, I know that's true.
That's true. That's what we
Except
did.
Chipper, because didn't Chipper wear like 9 pairs of sliding shorts to make his butt look nicer?
Yeah, Chipper was. Yeah, he goes, I don't want to slide and get scabbed up for 2 months. So he was very protected in case he had to slide.
Hey, you watching? Oh, go ahead, Kratz.
you said you would get the lineup card and you'd take a look at that. It's way more extensive now. Would you have done the more extensive stuff now, or would that have gotten in the way of what made you better?
Well, I mean, I did most of my own scouting. I think the stuff now today is great. I think I would pull bits and pieces of it for sure. I'd love to know if AJ hits, 120 on 2-1 count changeups as opposed to, 420. You get stuff like that. It's pretty valuable. So I think you would pull out the stuff that you think you can actually execute and use it to your advantage.
Wouldn't have helped him, Kratz. Wouldn't have helped him against me. 9 for 17.
Sorry
about it. 9 for 17.
Oh, that's why
My bad
for this.
I just pulled it up. I was like, but no walks. You didn't walk. You should, at some point, I figured you would have intentionally walked me.
Well, you were hitting 8.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, but the pitcher was behind me at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
But then again, you probably couldn't have walked because they were throwing it up here. I was swinging it over here.
Then I have to face a leadoff hitter.
And you don't walk.
That's why I said he couldn't. That's why he didn't walk me, because he couldn't have physically thrown it far enough outside for me not to swing at it.
That's good. Are you watching the Braves or any other? Do you watch a lot of ball?
I watch a little bit of the Rangers. My brother's over there in Texas. And what do I got?
Wait, he's doing this for a reason.
Just out here to check your heart rate and listen, Greg.
I'm getting the warm fuzzy.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Your brother, and every time he comes to Mountie.
Yeah.
He asks a lot of the guys about it.
Yeah. We have fun with that at Thanksgiving, holidays. We'll do the run, he's got that run, and we'll do the run. And we try to give him running practice, I think, one holiday, and just so he wouldn't embarrass the family as much. But yeah, he's good, and he's good at what he does, and
he's great at what he does.
I know he's taught me an awful lot about baseball growing up, being the older brother, and it's always nice to have that resource, in your back pocket when you need a little help. Sometimes your brother's a little bit better than the coaches you got.
So how often do you have conversations about work? Obviously you're in the fan, but hey, what's going on?
I mean,
what's wrong right now?
We used to talk a lot when we were playing together. That was before all the scouting. And if his team played, say, the Brewers, and our team was playing the Cubs, we'd cross, and I'd give him this Cub report, and he'd give me the Brewer report, and we shared a lot of information, and I think we helped one another out tremendously during our careers.
When you look at baseball now and you see guys like Scooble through the Maddux, is it cool that there's something called the Maddux?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's cool, right?
I mean, you're out of the game for 20 years now, and it gets brought up because somebody did something good. It's pretty cool. And I like watching that guy pitch. That guy can pitch.
He's pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
That guy actually pitches.
And he has fun too.
Yeah.
And he talks a little trash.
Yeah, I see that.
So I've always wanted to know this. Is it true? Well, I saw all the documentaries, Eddie Perez. The reason you had to call the pitches for Eddie Perez is because he didn't remember what fingers he put down. So that's why I know, because Eddie's Eddie. But this is how I could hit you. Because every time he went like this, he threw me a changeup. So I was like, oh, changeup's coming.
It's probably a fastball. You probably just thought it was a changeup.
But how did you get the ball to move so much? Because you were the originator, really, of the front hip sinker.
Yeah, I was very fortunate in high school. I had a pitching coach that taught me that movement was more important than velocity, and he kind of changed my arm angle when I was, 15, 16 years old to create movement, and that was how I learned. I learned movement was more important than velocity. I learned location was more important than velocity. And I learned changing speeds was more important than velocity. So, for me, it was obviously you want to throw harder the better. But, there's things more important than that in order to get hitters out. And that's the way I was raised and brought up.
Now, some guys won't get noticed if
I understand.
They don't throw hard enough. They feel that. Kids will be like, I don't think I'm going to get a look because there's just a barometer where they're like, we don't think he's going to be able to throw hard enough, even though he can do a lot of other things.
I understand that part of it. But, in the day I threw hard. I mean, when I came up, I threw hard. I threw hard enough to get drafted. And, I was taught your fastball is going to get you drafted. And if you learn how to pitch, that's how you make your money.
You could throw 95 though, right?
No.
You don't think?
No.
How about with today's radar guns?
Today's radar guns, I might be a tick or two higher, obviously. But, I think, when I was throwing hard, I was, 91 to 93 when I was throwing hard. And
yeah, but it went like this.
Yeah, you get older, you start losing stuff. And
the strike zone was a wee bit wider.
Well, I would like to got the high strike they're getting today. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
We might have got, a couple inches off the plate. And, I'd like to have the foot and a half up too. But, it is what it is. You always adapt to whatever the strike zone is that day. You know how it is. I mean, it changes day to day.
Different eras always hate on other eras, whether it's the older guys or the newer guys. Some people are like, well, Greg Maddux, he wouldn't have survived with the ABS system that's coming in next year. How do you think you would have been able to had success with that? Or even, like you just mentioned, with the zone that's called right now?
I mean, I would like to think I could have adapted to it. I mean, I think if you look at every generation, all the top players were top players for a reason. They during their time, they were able to have a little more success. And, it's just like the pitchers today. I mean, they could have pitched in our era and 20 years from now, they'll probably say the same thing about them.
You would have been fine. You would have been fine, Kratzy, because he just would have brought the ball back a little bit more. I mean, he started the sinker off the plate like this far, and it would just – and Charlie O'Brien's back there like this, and he just never moves his glove. Oh, ball's that far off this plate. Strike! The old-time umps. Yeah, okay.
Hey, the other pitcher got it too.
Yeah,
that's one of the things. Everyone says Atlanta, we got more pitches than anybody. And, when you sit there and you watch our games, if we're getting a little bit off the plate, well, the other guy was getting it too. We just threw more there. So I think, we were able to adapt to the strike zone a little bit better than most of the guys we faced. It wasn't like the other guy didn't get it too.
That's true.
We have spoken to hundreds and hundreds of current and former players on this show, and I think you still stand tall as the best prankster in baseball history. So
I'm not sure where I got that rep at. I really don't.
You've heard it many times, though, right? I mean, you must have had at least you just had a few good ones that were like those all timers, and people just kept talking about them.
I think over the years, guys like to embellish. To be honest with you. You know how that goes. The older I get, the funnier it was or whatever. And, yeah.
You are a jokester, though. Like, I know you're playing it down right now, but you are. Because you put the glasses on. If someone saw you walking down the street, they'd have no idea that you were a Hall of Fame pitcher with 350 wins.
Yeah.
But you're a jokester.
But I like to have fun. Yeah.
There's a jokester, too. So it must run in the family.
He's sick. He's the sick one in the family.
He's the sick one?
Yeah, he's the sick one. I mean, everything I learned, he taught me.
Right, and he's still got it going in the game today. That's true.
All right, so we got to ask, Tony Gwynn, toughest guy for you to get out? 415, 107 plate appearances, 0 strikeouts.
Yeah, I struck him out once, and the ump didn't call it. I thought I got him, and I think the ump kind of didn't give it to me. But the best pure hitter, obviously. I mean, if a single's going to beat you, that's the guy you didn't want up. But I think obviously Barry was hands down the best, during the time. Sheffield.
You handled Barry okay.
Because I walked him all the time. But, I mean, you pretty much had to pitch to Tony because he hit second. And, Tony Gwynn was cool because he's a guy that, how you beat lineups and not hitters. That was like the first time that you have to learn that when you face the Padres because, you got to find your 27 outs and they're not going to be with Tony. So, you better make sure you get the guys out in front of him and after him, and then you got a pretty good chance to win.
Is the story about, was it Bagwell? That story is correct about you gave up a homer to get him later.
It's not that you're trying to give up a homer. You're trying to throw a pitch that he might be looking for to try to keep him there. I always thought hitters remember success, and if they have success off you, that's what they're going to remember. And that's probably where their eyes are going to be looking during the game.
That's smart. Because when I first came up, I had the backup catcher was a guy named Tom Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to tell me, hey, every once in a while, if there's 2 outs, nobody on, you have a really good hitter, you're not right to the stuff to get them out. You kind of give them a little something early in a series, early in a game, like you said, to get them excited. Like, oh, they are going to throw me a sinker in where I crush it every once in a while. And he's like, yeah, do it with 2 outs and nobody on. You have a lead just to so you when you need to go to the slider, you haven't used it yet. And then when I heard that story, I was like, oh, that's where that came from.
Yeah. I mean, you remember success. I mean, shit, I remember my first home run. That was 30 years ago. I mean, it was a hitter middle end.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, you don't forget stuff like that. You know, it's like making a hole in one.
Greg, you were, and I'll say this with all due respect, you were only an all-star 8 times. I had no idea. That is a crazy number to me. How, during those times, do you feel like you were slighted a couple times? I mean, we're talking, this is a 4-time Cy Young Award winner and only an 8-time all-star.
Not really. I mean, pitchers had to earn it. We weren't voted in by the fans. We got picked. And, you know, the best, 6 or 7 starting pitchers that had the first half were the ones going in. I think, I don't think I ever really felt slighted, by not being selected. All-star games are fun. They're exciting to go to, but it's also kind of cool to have the 3 days off as well. And it is what it is. No, I don't feel slighted at all.
Yeah, you're in the Hall of Fame. You did okay.
Yeah. There were also
first ballot Hall of Famer, 355 wins.
There were half the pitcher all-stars back then because they pitched.
Yeah, no, I know.
Now they don't pitch, most of them.
Now there's 92 all-stars.
Here's another one. Here's another one. Yeah. Well, Greg, thank you so much for the time.
Thank
Great
you.
to see you. Good luck out there. Have fun.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
BetMGM locks heading into a big weekend. First off, yesterday, I stayed hot. Kratz, no sweat.
Super no sweat.
Yesterday. Yeah, they were sloppy. Marlins were pouring on the runs against some bad defense, a lot of unearned runs. Mets put up some of their offense too, so no sweat. What's up with your Cubbies?
They tried their best. Shota did exactly what I thought he'd do, and they had a lot of hits against Logan Webb. Because they're a good sinker ball hitting team. They just didn't pull it out in the end. They had a couple chances, but lost in the 9th. All
right, well, Pap's up. Todd Father not listed there, but he's still up. Even though this is a very rare 3-game skid, I'm told, or a 3-day skid for Todd Father. So we have a problem, Todd Father. Do you have a solution for us tonight?
I do. I do have a solution. It's people are like, it's a lot, but the Yankees are hot right now. I'm riding a wave. It's a good wave. I'm out in Hawaii at the North Shore over there. The waves are riding smooth. Okay, I'm taking the Yankees -2 and a hook. They got to win by 3, +115, 300 to win 345. They've been crushing. Let's stick with them.
Okay. Kratz, what are you doing?
Love that. I'm going to parlay 2 teams that were off and their bullpens are ridiculous. And so I'm just parlaying 2 money lines. Mariners have the bullpen advantage with Kirby going. So I'm taking them, and I'm taking the Padres with hot Nestor. He's only had 1 blip on the radar since he's come back. And really, if he gets in any trouble, the bullpen's rested again because they were off yesterday. So parlaying both those together. Oh, the Padres are playing the Twins. And it's coming out +187. I love this one today.
Ooh, how much do you love it? Do you love it enough to push a little extra towards it?
Oh,
this is my new thing, Tom.
Scotty's been trying to push me to go, look, I got to get back on the winning side first, and then we're going to get this number back to the green.
Scared money.
My results so far have been pretty scary. So yes, I'm gonna stick with my hunch to win 187.
But you're putting yourself in a tougher spot to get back to level.
Screw it! I'm going 200. 200. That's what it is. Todd pushed me.
Yes, Claude, mark it down. 200 to win a lot. Hey, we have some FT breaking news. This, according to Jeff Passan, the Boston Red Sox released veteran right-hander Walker Buehler. So he is cut. I believe that another team can pick him up if they want him in time to put him on a roster that could turn into an October appearance for Walker Buehler. But it's been a rough year. Are you surprised about this one, Todd Father?
Yeah, just because of the name alone. I mean, this guy, pitching-wise came in and won a World Series. I mean, it doesn't seem too long ago, right? It's just listen, wow. Yeah, I mean, I know a bunch of teams that could take a pitcher like this in their caliber and just bring him in for the rest of the year. This one, I'd like to read more into this and understand why. This 7-7, like a 1 point negative WAR. I don't know. I'm very confused. I know the Red Sox are doing really well. It's just one of those scenarios where I would love to hear about, what else is going on.
Yeah, they bumped him to the rotation. I mean, the Red Sox are looking for another starter, which they hope to be Payton Tolle, right? They've got their big three right now, absolutely thriving with Crochet. What a pickup for them this offseason. And then Brian Bayo has really found his form. Same with Lucas Giolito, Kratz. What's funny with Buehler? He's very straightforward. So he's like, I get it. I mean, I'm paraphrasing here. I know why I was bumped out of the rotation. And then, of course, we'll get word from him on this next move from Boston after a 1-year contract. His regular season numbers are almost identical from a run prevention standpoint to last year. And then all of a sudden in the postseason, he looked different.
Mm-hmm. It's a bold move by the Sox. They feel like they're in a strong position to be able to let this happen. You know what? Just like Todd said, you got to be there to see kind of more than just his stat line. His stat line's not very good, and it's an example of when guys have surgery, they don't always come back to be the guy they were before. A lot of the time, yes, but not always. And he hasn't consistently held his velocity, hasn't consistently been able to shape his breaking ball. But in the playoffs last year, everybody remembers how he finished out the game and he threw the curveball to finish out the World Series that I think he had thrown like 1 or 2 other times. But the start before, he had a stinker 2 starts before, and then he came out and he had a great start where he was punching tickets. So to me, I bet he's thrown out of the bullpen for the Dodgers by the time postseason rolls around.
Wow. Hey, remember last year, the epic Game 3 NLCS against the Mets. The command was tight, and then I was looking back. Best drop ever on his knuckle curve. Most sweep, right? Most horizontal movement ever on his sweeper. Most fade on the sinker. Spin rate was the highest it had been since sticky stuff enforcement, which, you look at that time period a few years ago, it's different. He finished the playoff run with 13 consecutive scoreless innings, including the final 3 outs of the World Series. Again, if you're a Boston fan right now and you're watching this and you've been watching him perform all year and not perform at a nice level, a 5.5-ish ERA, just like the Dodgers watched from him last year, you're like, see ya. We've got our big boy prospect coming up, Payton Tolle. We've got a big 3 right now, and maybe May finds it a little bit for us. We're good. But I'm with you, Todd Father. I love the good storyline, and I hope that he gets scooped up by another team and we get playoff Walker Buehler, because, I mean, he'll say, like, I'm missing that FU behind my pitches last year, and then all of a sudden he found it.
He did for sure. So, again, what have you done for me lately attitude? I guess if that's the case, then yeah, he should be gone. But to know the caliber of pitcher he is, he's still got a lot left in the tank.
Were you insinuating that it got a little stickier as the postseason went on? Were you insinuating that the jump in spin rate, the jump in movement, Scott Braun, you are devious on a Friday.
I just drop things on the table. This is my job all day. I just drop things like this, and then I just see what everyone picks up. And Erik Kratz is actually Mr. Conspiracy Theories. So I just dropped it there. I truly don't know. Of course I don't know, but I also just like to say, hey, here's what the statistics are reading. What do you think?
My thought?
Yeah.
My thought is he did a great job of making a positive adjustment for himself in his last 13 innings. But I also don't want to escape the fact that because we harp on the Pirates being cheap, Walker Buehler is making $21.05 million this year. You break that down for September. Now, I know he's released. It's not a waiver dump, but there's some cash there that maybe they're going to think again about how they spend their money in the offseason instead of going $21 million for I hope it works out kind of pitcher. Solidify it. Go and do what it takes to get Corbin Burns to not sign with the Diamondbacks. I know he got hurt, but do what it takes to put another monster piece in this rotation to pair with Crochet, who's going to be there for a long time.
I remember I watched one game start recently, and I look back, I found it on the 8th of August where he shut down the Padres. And it's the post-trade deadline Padres. 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 9 ground balls, 96 pitches. So sometimes guys get cut, right? And they'll have these kind of numbers on the season, and then you look at the recent numbers over the past couple of months, and you're like, I can't find a good outing results-wise. There's something here. Yeah, Dodgers fans are losing their mind right now. At least some of them. Because many of them probably haven't been watching Walker Buehler this year, right? We do have somewhat of a regional sport with the way that teams consume or with the way that fans consume their team's games, right? Like you might listen to FT during the day, but then if you've got the Red Sox playing and then you're worried, well, if you're on the West Coast, you might still be at work. And then you're watching your Dodgers at night, you might not see much of Walker Buehler. So you're like, hey, those are the same numbers as last year. Let's give it a shot.
I'm interested to see what happens now because he was released. This isn't waiver dump. The Red Sox are paying the entirety of the rest of his salary. I'm interested to see because there's no motivation. No team is going to pay him more than the minimum for the month of September. I'm interested to see where he chooses to go and how that, like, not courting process, but like how that process goes. Like, he essentially gets to choose from all the teams that want him to pitch because they're all going to pay him the exact same.
Oh, he's going wherever he feels like there's a team that can help get him right.
That's what
Podfather.
I'm interested.
Spot on. That's it. There's no more to say really about it. It's just one of those things where as you get older, it's like, you know, as Kratz and I got older and the opportunities, like you want to be on a winning ball club too as well. So it's tough. You want to play and then you get in situations, well, let's see who wants me first, and then you go from there.
Yankees. Wouldn't that be great? Need it.
What do you think?
I mean, I'd love to see it. I'm looking up to see who he dealt against this year and see if – because to me there's a lot of recency bias. He dealt against the Phillies. He dealt against the Padres. He dealt against
the Rays. But you figure he wants to try and go to a team where he can pitch in October and reprove himself. That's what he did. I mean, he earned this contract based on October. Before October, you're looking at Walker Buehler and you're like, he's going to get a small deal. He was going to get a 1-year contract, but he was going to get a 1-year contract at a much lower rate. And remember, the Dodgers also didn't throw the qualifying offer his way. The Dodgers were like, hey, we want you to be in a good spot. That's something that many teams can and won't do. And maybe they were thinking about if that was going to end up being the number and, you know, he was going to take it. So they said, hey, no qualifying offer. Go out there to the world. Don't be attached to a comp pick and select where you want to go.
They did him a solid. It was pro.
It was pro. So, yeah, I'm with you here. I'm looking at where else he thrived this year. He pitched well against Toronto. They don't need him.
Playoff teams that he's pitched well against, not many.
Yankees and Padres. But, I mean, for me, it's more –
Phillies and Padres, too.
Sorry, Phillies and Padres. Who needs him, right? Who's interested in picking up a guy that can be a fifth starter for you and maybe catch fire in the postseason?
Cubs.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
I like that too. That's a good name. Someone's going to do it, so we'll see. It's a league minimum guy at this point. Red Sox eat the money. Anyway, breaking news. Walker Buehler cut by the Boston Red Sox. Boston's in a good spot. I mean, this was the part of the team that you were probably concerned about was, do they have the pitching? They have the pitching right now. And if you believe in all these prospects that are coming up right now and thriving, then they might have just added themselves another guy who can pitch big boy innings for them in October. And they looked at the roster. Alex Cora, Kratz, is pretty decisive, and he has more control of the roster than I think most managers do. Would you agree with that?
I would think so, yes. I mean, that would be my initial read from what you see out there, because I think he kind of has that GM mentality too, so I think there's conversation. If there's somebody that has more, it would be his cohort in Houston. I think A.J. Hinch probably has more. But
okay,
I think Cora's up there for sure.
Yeah. Decision has been made. Anyway, let us know if you're looking at this afterward or if you're watching us live right now where you think he could end up. And if you think he can find it again like he did last October. FT fam coming back with Slap. I've got a big question for Todd Father about treating former stars in their stomping grounds where they thrived the most.
What's happening, everybody at FT, all my gamblers at FT Nation, BetMGM gamblers, what's happening? It's your boy Parlay Pal. I'm coming to you on this Friday before Labor Day. I'm headed to Boston to go watch Skeens pitch against a new call-up, Tolle in Fenway Park, and I gotta get this bet in. So here we go. Dodgers against the Diamondbacks. We taking the Dodgers in the money line, and the Cubs against the Rockies. Got to bet against the Rockies, taking the Cubs in the money line. Two-leg parlay for 100, and it's plus 116. So let's get that money for Labor Day, baby.
That was the worst Pap video of all time, and we have Pap on all the time. Man. Pap, I love you to death, but you got to wait until the PA is done at the airport. He was just running through it like he didn't hear it. I was like, is he okay? Does he know that they're speaking on the loudspeaker right now? You're missing your flight. But whatever he said, we're going to see on a board soon. Did you guys hear his pick?
Yes. Dodgers and Cubs.
Okay. You got better hearing than I do. I'll go Reds money line. They're playing the Cardinals. The Reds are, trying. Obviously, they've got an outside chance at this point, but they need to take down a team like this. Zach Littell is one of the weapons they picked up at the trade deadline, and Matthew Liberatore is actually a storyline that Katie Woo has been covering for years now. Can he keep his stuff up at the end of the year? It's been a problem for him, so I'm going to bank on that continuing to be a problem as it's been over the last couple weeks, and I'll take the Reds money line. We got a board to put it all together here for us. There we go. I got minus 135 to win a hundo. Pap is at plus 116. Todd Father plus 115. Wants the Yanks to win by 3 or more. And for Kratz, he's got the Mariners and the Padres on a money line. Good luck to everyone tonight. And also you can win a share of $50,000 in bonus bets if your home run pick hits the longest bomb. And that includes parlays for Big Fly Fridays. This is it. Last chance. Last Big Fly Friday. Go hard, and make sure you do it inside the BetMGM app. Oh, who you got, Kratz? Jordan tonight?
Jordan facing Tyler Anderson, left on left. Wee.
Boom. Jazz Chisholm.
Oh, he's been hot lately.
That. I'm going Jazz. Like he's all yeah. Go ahead.
Hey, Todd Father, did you see this story early this week from Boomer Esiason, who's a big radio host in New York and big former quarterback in the NFL? So he's in the Ring of Honor for the Bengals, and they sent him the invite to attend, because now once you're in the Ring of Honor, you're supposed to go when someone else gets inducted, and they're inducting 2 other players, right? So he gets the email invite, and he gets 2 free tickets for seats in the stands with an option to buy more seats if he would like to buy more, and then a discounted rate at the local hotel as part of a room block. So he basically gets himself out there, pays for the hotel, and they give him a couple tickets in the seats where you were in Cincinnati somewhat frequently, Todd Father. I mean, you are a man of the people, you love them, but if you're sitting out in the seats, people are just all over you the whole time. So it sounds like he's probably going to decline the offer. Do you think the Bengals should offer a little more as like a $5.5 billion franchise?
That is brilliant.
I see where you're going with this, but no.
No? He should just go out there and do his thing? Is that how? I don't know genuinely how this works. I'm not saying he should get paid, but don't they usually take care of them and be like, hey, hang out in the owner's suite and we'll put you up for a night? No,
I got you with that. The suite thing, yeah, put him in the suite. I find that weird that they're not going to put him in the suite. But, you're getting 2 tickets. I mean, it just, to me, people feel like because of what, you did in the past, at the end of the day, it's like they have to do this and that. I mean, listen, dude, if they don't put you in a suite, I find that as a problem. That's not a problem. But you're getting it says a discounted rate. They're not giving him a hotel on his own either?
No, that's what I'm saying, dude. I mean, these things happen all the time. They don't pay him, but they bring him out and take care of him, right?
Yeah, they should take your hotel and put him in a suite. Anything else after that is whatever.
That's all I'm asking for as his rep now. I'm now his rep. That's all I was asking for. Okay, so we're on the same page here. It's weird. That's why it was a story. Happy Labor Day weekend, everyone. Yeah. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Monday, we're off. Tuesday.